So, hi everyone, good evening all. Yes, you guys are here, and okay. So, today's session is all about, I believe, yes, it is more about shell, and we are going to use the same thing, right? Okay, so now let's have a quiz first. So, I'm just sharing this link, and you all can join from your phone or wherever you want. Just join it. You have 1 minute only. So around 37 players. All right, 10 more seconds. You guys can join it. All right, 42. I can see in the chat list the 44 players around. Okay. So, all right. So, final 10 seconds, then we'll start. Okay. All right. So, here is the first question. What makes up a kernel Linux? Okay, good question. Okay, so the two correct answers are there. So 28, 25. Okay, that means maximum people are smart. Good one, guys. Okay, nuclear. Hmm. So to repeat the last command, you can talk about, think about this. Wonderful. 20 correct answers. Let me give you an idea about it. So, what exactly the meaning of this question is? Let's say if I am having this terminal under my root user and I'm opening it, right? So, this is my terminal, and let me just make it a bit bigger. Okay, so what I'm doing, I have just, run one command, two command, and three command. Okay, I have three command. If I want to repeat the last command I just explained or just type, I just use double exclamation sign and hit enter. It will repeat the last command that you just typed. Alright, so something like this. So this question was about to repeat the last command in the bash history. So 20 correct answers, by the way. Okay, nice one. You will be getting the about this question more today, right? All of them. So more about this one you will be learning in today's session. Anyway, so Sashank is leading now. So maybe you need to read more about it. It's a very, kind of GK question. User space paired. So maybe we can talk about this someday. I'm not sure, but anyway, a lot of change in the ranking today. Okay, this is pretty good one. I think we discussed about the same. So the right answer is false, right? In general, it cannot, but there are some cases, by the way. I'm not denying it completely, but there are some cases where a user can also execute, but in 99% cases, it cannot. Anyway, so so maybe we'll be talking about this later on. It's something like if you're spending 1 hour or 2 hour every day in the next, then wonderful, maximum correct, locate answer. Okay, good one, guys. So 7. Twenty-one correct answer. It doesn't exist. Okay. All right. Eighth one. Very easy, right? Very easy. If you guys can answer it. 15 correct. So it is not going to land you in the home, right? Home is a folder. cd command will land you always to a home directory. Anyway, so Divya is doing great. I think maximum people can answer this question. Whoa, which one is not a text editor? So दो लोगों ने आंसर दिया Vim. Guys, Vim तो मैंने लास्ट टाइम ही बताया था यार. Yes, okay. Anyway, so second last question. Okay, 24 correct answers. Good one. Right. Divya is doing awesome job. Now the final question. Wonderful. It's 25 correct answers, right? And let's see the ranking. Ashif, wonderful job, Ashif. Sani, good job. Okay, guys. So now let's talk about the what we are going to today. What we are going to discuss today. Sorry. So one thing, and it's not a request by the way. ये आपके भले के लिए है. Please do read the blog and answer question and commit your GitHub link here. Okay, I've given this question and a few more, right? If you go there, these are the questions, problem number 1, number 2, number 3. Till now, maximum people have given the wrong answer for the first question, right? Maximum people given the wrong answer for the first question. I don't know about the second, never checked. Okay, few answers are correct. The third, तीसरा क्वेश्चन बहुत ही ईजी है. आपको सिर्फ एक कमांड यूज करके ये पूरी डायरेक्टरीज बनानी है, राइट? ये सब कुछ सब डायरेक्टरी है, फाइल कुछ भी नहीं है. एंड देन फोर्थ क्वेश्चन भी काफ़ी सही है. तो आप कमेंट देख सकते हो. अननोन, अपना नाम से किया करो कमेंट. पाइकीर, आशिफ, प्रताप, दिनेश एंड मेनी मोर. सी ओनली दीज मेनी पीपल. ये इससे हमें पता पड़ेगा टू सेलेक्ट दोज टॉप 50 पीपल जिनको हमें थोड़ा कहीं और पे लेके जाना है, राइट? सो ट्राई टू आंसर दोज questions by solving, and then you have to put your GitHub link there. Okay, anyway, so about today's topic, we are going to talk about the very new topic today, and that is shell. Okay, so it's a very good one, and this is one of the most interesting topic in Linux that is going to make couple of changes in your understanding. Okay, so what exactly shell is? So first of all, let's talk about this hardware. Okay, so for example, this is your hardware where your CPU, RAM and everything is there. Okay, your hardware is completely an electronic device. That means ICs and chips and everything is there. That simply means it is completely an electronic device, and that is a set of gates and chips. Okay, that means definitely we need to connect with the hardware, then we need kind of support. So when we discussed about operating system architecture a bit, we discussed about 3 individual components. Okay, the core and the main one was kernel, that is responsible for interacting with the hardware. The second was something XYZ, and the top one was applications, or I can say software. Okay, now why this thing got created? See, if I want to connect with the hardware, I want to talk to the hardware, I need to understand either machine level language or maybe binary language. So we need to have some program that can interact with hardware, and that program is kernel. So in short, what I can say is kernel is someone that understands machine level language, because that is going to interact with the hardware. तो इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि दो इंसान या दो एंटिटी आपस में तभी बात करती हैं जब उनकी लैंग्वेज आपस में कंपैटिबल है. ओके, so that's why kernel is pretty much understanding machine level language. Okay, but what about us? Okay, so let's say if I'm a user, I can either click or I can type. If I am clicking somewhere, I'm giving input in a very high level language. Even if I'm typing, so I need to type in the language that I understand. So for example, I understand English or Hindi or maybe any other. So I'm taking English as an example. So if I'm typing, let's say, date in my terminal and expecting output in the same language as well. But ये होगा कैसे? क्योंकि date command को जब तक आपके RAM में आप एग्जीक्यूट नहीं करोगे CPU की हेल्प से, so that command cannot be executed. So that means we are typing this, but we are getting output here. But question is how? Okay, so here I'm just creating this diagram again. So again, this is my hardware, and to connect with hardware, we already have a very well planned and well designed product called kernel. And to interact with humans, like for us, we have some software. Okay, that means if I want to write, I have text editor. If I want to send some command, I have cmd or I have terminal. What if I want to browse something, if I want to Google something, I have a browser. So whatever we have, that means whatever software or application we can connect with, these are applications. The thing is, we are always giving input in our own language, right? So let's say I'm taking example of terminal. Okay, so if I'm typing like date as a command, so date command is written in this language, and this language is understood by people and me, maybe humans. But how this date is received by kernel, because what, kernel is understanding machine level language, machine language. तो मतलब ये हुआ कि कर्नल को अगर आप डेट कमांड दोगे तो कर्नल इज नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड. So that means we need some interpreter, some mediator here that can take input from you, number one, and that can translate this exactly language to the kernel compatible language. Okay, that means it's a kind of translator that is going to take input from you and it is going to convert for kernel. Now kernel will pass this to the hardware for execution purpose. That is number 3. It will execute that program here, then it will respond back to kernel again, and kernel will send the outcome in the same language to this product, like number 5, and this program will reconvert that output in our language, number 6, and we get the date command output here. So मतलब क्या हुआ कि when I type this and I hit enter, I get the output, but the real story is this. Okay, so this mediator program that is translating your input for kernel, and that is also translating the output by kernel to you in your own language, that is shell. Okay, so shell is an intermediate program between user and kernel. I hope ये आपको थोड़ा सा समझ में आया होगा. तो अगर आपसे कोई definition पूछे, right, somebody gonna ask definition. So let's say if this is a kernel and this is you as a user and you are giving some input here. So we need some program in between that can act as an mediator, or I can say it is a middleware where it is taking your input, translating back to kernel. Whatever kernel is responding, it is translating back to you. Okay, so kind of it's the shell is an interface between user and kernel. You don't have to remember the definition of shell. You can always pretend as an interpreter, okay, that is going to take input from you and it is going to convert it for kernel, and this kernel will respond back and everything. So number 1, number 2, number 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not explaining that hardware process, but in short, this is your shell. Okay, so I hope not exactly, not language, it's a kind of interpreter that is going to interpret your input for the the next product that is compatible to that. तो यदि आपको ये समझ में आ रहा है, whatever I'm trying to say about kernel, just say yes in the chat window so that I can proceed with the very much, next thing about kernel, sorry, shell. Okay, so all right, so first, answer I am getting it. Okay, wonderful guys. So in short, you are understanding the role of kernel, sorry, role of shell. Okay, now in any of the operating system we have number of shells. Okay, number of shells we have. So if you talk about Linux specifically, the number of shells we are having, there are number of shells. So shell we have is like bash. This is the most awesome and most popular shell ever, right? Ah yes, Ashif, it is a, right? Okay, now again sh or tcsh or csh or corn shell, or we are calling it ksh, and many more. So in the world of Linux we have these kind of shell. Okay, so simply we are generally having these shells. Now it's up to you what shell you want to use, because maximum people are using bash, so we are also going to use bash. Okay, so why there are so many shells are there? Because of the reason they have number of features. Okay, so we have number of features. All right, so in a simple term, bash is the one that we are going to discuss with, and bash stand for born again shell. It is designed by a developer called Born and again shell. Okay, so I'll be giving you a lot of reasons why we need to use bash shell instead of any other, so you'll be having that answer. But if someone gonna ask you where exactly your shell is, okay, where exactly, some people are saying your terminal is like your shell. No, terminal is not a shell. Terminal is a software that is connecting to your shell. Okay, so every operating system having number of shells supported. Okay, but out of these number of shells, there is some shell that is default set with your OS, right? So because we are using Fedora, and Fedora has default shell as bash. Okay, Fedora is also having supported shell. That means whatever the rest of shells that is supported by Fedora and out of the given list. So you cannot say by default Fedora is supporting all, but default is bash. So how do you really understand which shell are supported by Fedora? So there is a file called etc shells, right? And I hit enter. So number of shells supported by Fedora is, let's say, sh, bash, then tmux and tmux. Okay, if they are repeating it, there is a reason, right? So simply you don't have to repeat it. They are located at two different locations, but by default your Fedora is having bash, sh and tmux. But out of these, which one is default? Okay, which one is your default shell? So the answer can be given by number of ways. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you one more theory for the same, how you check the shell. So for example, let's say if I want to give you one idea how commands are executed in any Linux kernel, in any Linux based OS. Okay, so assume this is your kernel, and kernel is connected with your hardware. Okay, and this is you, and this is your software or application where you are giving your input. Okay, when you give your input, it is going to interact with the shell first. Now I can just name it like a bash. Okay, now what was the job of bash in earlier days? It is taking input from you and it is translating it for kernel. Okay, when it is translating it for kernel is checking that program in the hard disk and executing it. Okay, once it got successfully executed, it is responding back to shell, and shell is going to retranslate it for you. That was the very standard process we used to do in earlier days, right? But when this model was proposed, there was a bug. So people, hacked that model because of couple of reasons. So for example, ऐसा मानते हैं कि let's say मैंने एक command दी date कुछ भी लिख के, and the command is going to receive by your shell. What was the role of shell? The shell role was to translate this input to the kernel compatible instruction. तो इसने क्या किया, कर्नल को ट्रांसलेट करके दे दिया, मान लो डेट यहाँ पे आ गई. Now kernel cannot directly execute this. Kernel has to check in the hard disk that the program you typed on the terminal or wherever you type, सबसे पहली बात, is the program is existing in my storage or not. मतलब जो प्रोग्राम आपने टाइप किया है वो हार्ड डिस्क में है भी या नहीं. यदि वो है तो उसे एग्जीक्यूट करवा के एंड वापस से शेल को दो, एंड शेल उसे ट्रांसलेट करके वापस पहुंचा देगा. ओके, ये सारी स्टोरी इज वेरी गुड, बट सम अनऑथेंटिक यूजर्स लाइक अ हैकर, और मे बी आप अपने बारे में भी बात कर सकते हैं. व्हाट if you are giving a command like data, you are mistyping it, मतलब आप जानबूझ के मिसटाइप कर रहे हो, तो आपने बड़े प्यार से शेल को पकड़ा दिया. What shell is doing? Shell is very भोला भाला product, and shell is translating it for kernel. कर्नल वापस जाके हार्ड डिस्क में चेक करेगा, एंड क्या पता पड़ा कि डेटा जैसा कोई कमांड या इनपुट तो हमारे पास है ही नहीं, राइट? नहीं है. तो वापस से कर्नल शेल को बताएगा कि सॉरी ब्रो, आई डोंट हैव एनी कमांड लाइक दिस. ठीक है, ये कोई बड़ी बात नहीं, इट्स फाइन. बट व्हाट इफ अगर आपने शेल से एज अ यूजर बार बार ये कमांड दो, मतलब आप एक सेकेंड के अंदर यू कैन हिट 1000 टाइम्स डेटा कमांड. सो आपने 1000 टाइम इसे बोला, इसने 1000 टाइम कन्वर्ट करके कर्नल को दिया, कर्नल ने 1000 टाइम हार्ड डिस्क में सर्च किया और हर बार आंसर दिया नो, नॉट फाउंड, राइट? दैट मीन्स when you write the incorrect instruction to the shell का काम क्या है? कन्वर्ट करके इसको पकड़ा देना. when you keep doing it, तो अगर यहाँ पे कोई इंसान बैठा होता, मान लो आप बैठे होते, तो क्या होता? आपसे बार बार कोई कुछ पूछ रहा है, आप बोल रहे हो कि नहीं है नहीं है नहीं है, आपका दिमाग खराब हो जाएगा। तो ये अप्रोच इसलिए रिजेक्ट हो गई बिकॉज आपसे कोई पूछ रहा है, आप बार बार बता रहे हो नहीं ये है ही नहीं, ये है ही नहीं, राइट। अब आप अपने टर्म्स में क्या बोलेंगे, चूतिया है क्या एंड ऑल, जो भी आप बोलेंगे, बट this approach got rejected due to this reason, right? Because if kernel is doing the check for the existence of command, that is not the good thing, okay? So ये बात समझ में आई ये reject क्यों हुआ था, yes and no with your response in the chat window, right? जो लोग सेशन के बीच में टर्न आउट करते हैं, लाइक क्योंकि स्टार्टिंग में 50 फिर 54 एंड जो भी है, ओके guys, give your response in the chat window very quickly why this model got rejected, so you can just, okay, wonderful. So moving on to the next, so what is the solution today? Okay, the solution to this problem is very good these days, okay? So when the modified architecture got replanned, तो अब क्या होने लगा, we have kernel that is connected with hardware, and this is you, and again you are here typing your input. We know that the input is going to forward it to the shell. पहले ऐसा होता था, shell is trusting blindly to humans, जो कि बहुत बड़ा खतरा है, इंसानों पे भरोसा करना होता है, एंड इट इज़ ट्रांसलेटिंग टू द कर्नल, बट इस प्रोसेस को हमने बंद किया. सो नाउ वी हैव गिवन द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, you know, to shell to search about the existence of the program in the hard disk itself, okay? And then if the program found, then you have to convert it back to the kernel. If the program is not found, you can directly say no to user. You don't have to go to the kernel for, you know, executing that, okay? So check in the hard disk itself, but if it is, you know, not existing, respond back to user directly. You don't have to go to the kernel. But there is one more problem. Let's say in my laptop I am having 500 GB hard disk. So searching in 500 GB hard disk is not a big deal for shell. It's not a time taking process. What if one of your friend is having 2 TB hard disk in their laptop, or maybe server like Google where we have 64,000 terabyte storage. So if you keep increasing the size of hard disk, it will be a very burden, a very complex process for shell to search in that big amount of storage, okay? This is the reason why when we created operating system for the first time, what happened, in every OS there is a location and there is a size or location that got fixed, that whatever operating system you want to use, you don't have to search in entire storage, you have to search only here. तो मतलब क्या किया गया कि एक लोकेशन बना दी गई या सेट ऑफ लोकेशंस बना दी गई, शेल को हमेशा यहीं पे सर्च करना है, चाहे पूरी हार्ड डिस्क कितनी भी बड़ी हो। और इस लोकेशन के अंदर मान लो फॉर एग्जांपल 5 फोल्डर के नाम डाल दिए, 5 डायरेक्टरीज। दैट मीन्स शेल को ये बताया गया कि आपको हमेशा इन्हीं 5 डायरेक्टरी में सर्च करना है, चाहे ओएस की साइज कुछ भी हो। एंड ऑल दीज डायरेक्टरी got stored under a variable, we call it path, okay? तो आप ये मान लो कि रियलिटी में किसी भी ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम के अंदर पाथ वेरिएबल क्यों बनाया गया है, ताकि शेल वहाँ सर्च करे और वहीं से निकाल ले, राइट? इफ यू टॉक अबाउट विंडोज, लिनक्स और मैक, every single operating system has a path variable, and the use of path variable to maintain the list of directory where a command or a compiler or an interpreter can be there. तो मतलब अगर आपने जावा प्रोग्रामिंग की होगी तो आपको जावा का पाथ इसलिए ऐड करना पड़ता था ताकि शेल को फटाफट मिल जाए सब कुछ, राइट. सो आई एम फाइनलाइजिंग दिस डायग्राम अगेन. ओके, सो मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, फाइनल स्टेप. ओके, so this is your kernel. It is connected with your hardware, and this is user, and here you are having input. We know that this is going to forward the request to the shell. Okay, so once you hit, when you type this command, the number one step, it is going to connect with the shell. That is step number one. Okay, step number two, shell is not going to search in entire storage. It is going to look for a path variable, and path variable is having list of directory. Okay, so it is going to search here. That is number two. Now I'm just writing if here, right? Here found, that means if the program that you given, if it is found, and not found. If it is not found, then the shell itself is going to give you the response directly without interacting to kernel. That is, I can just number, here there is a if. So number 4, if the program that you given is not found, then you can directly give the answer from shell. But what if found? So number 5, it is going to translate for kernel. Number 6, kernel with connect with the hardware and process it. Once it is processing whatever it is, either error or successful thing, so it is going to take response back from this. And then number 8, it is going to, kernel is going to respond back to the shell. And finally number 9, shell is going to retranslate it for you. Okay, so simply this is how a command is getting executed in Linux. Okay, I got one question by Manan. The capacity of path variable is the size of your operating system storage drive. इसका मतलब capacity of path variable is equivalent to the your C drive size. For example, आपने Windows को की C drive को जो भी size दिया है, उसकी जो भी कैपेसिटी होगी वही पाथ की कैपेसिटी है. ऐसे लिनक्स में भी, राइट. और हम इसे कस्टमाइज भी कर सकते हैं. देयर इज नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम. सो अगर ये समझ में आया है तो यू कैन से यस. खासकर ये बात की पाथ क्यों बनाया गया था रियलिटी में किसी टाइम पे. ओके, सो जस्ट लेट मी नो बाय giving yes or no message कि आपको ये बात समझ में आई. I'm just taking a picture of it and I'll paste it on LinkedIn, so and you can comment it back over there. Okay, alright, so just taking this one, कनेक्टिंग टू लिंक्डइन. बाकी जितने लोग सेशन देख रहे हैं आपको इस पे कमेंट बैक करना है. इससे प्रोफाइल थोड़ी आपकी बूस्ट हो जाएगी. सो होला पीपल शेयर योर एक्सपीरियंस, राइट. About Linux shell. Okay, and I'm uploading फर्स्ट वन आई डोंट नो कौन सी इमेज है, बट जो भी होगी ये है शायद. ऑलराइट, choosing and done. Fine. So just given this, you can share your experience over there. ये एक अच्छी practice है अगर आप LinkedIn पे सब update रखते हो तो. Anyway, and we'll be talking about a couple of things later on. Okay. So अब इसका मतलब क्या हुआ, किसी ने question पूछा कि अगर आपको पता करना हो that what is the default shell of OS, तो देखो यहाँ से देखते हैं. अगर आपको डिफ़ॉल्ट शेल पता करनी है तो आपको कुछ कमांड याद करने की नीड नहीं है. आपने जानबूझ के क्या करो, इसे गलत कमांड दो, ये पाथ में सर्च करेगी, इसको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा तो शेल खुद ही रिप्लाई करेगी. फाइन. सी, सो इफ आई एम गोइंग देयर, अगर मैंने ये एंटर किया तब तो मुझे कर्नल से आउटपुट मिल रहा है. बट इफ आई एम डूइंग लाइक एनीथिंग, कुछ भी टाइप कर दिया, वो हो, लुक एट द आउटपुट, हु रिप्लाइड. सो बैश रिप्लाइड द कमांड यू टाइप इज नॉट फाउंड. यू कैन कंपेयर विद द डायग्राम, राइट. सो मैंने जब सही कमांड दी तब तो इसने कन्वर्ट किया पूरे 9 स्टेप को और आपको आउटपुट मिल गया. बट जब आपने कुछ ऐसा टाइप किया जो है ही नहीं, तो आपको किसने रिप्लाई किया? शेल ने. अब शेल वही रिप्लाई करेगी जो बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट होगी. सो एज वी डिस्कस्ड, फेडोरा इज़ यूजिंग बैश एज अ बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट शेल. तो आपको डिफ़ॉल्ट शेल पता करनी है तो कोई भी अनशंट कमांड टाइप कर दो and you will get the answer. Okay, let's anything, for example, again, okay, but if you type the correct one, get the one. Okay, all right. तो ये थोड़ा सा शेल के बारे में जो आपको मतलब अच्छा मेथड है if you want to check it. Okay, now more things about shell. So I am going to just browse it up. Alright. Now the next question, what are the locations under path variable? That means path variable is having some locations where the commands can be present. So there are very simple steps. So for example, if I want to check where exactly date command is present, so I can use which date. Once I use which date, you can see that USR bin is one of the location where date command is there. So what I can say, in my Linux based operating system /USR and /bin, this is, let's say, folder number 1. I can say directory 1. This is a part of your path. Okay, similarly, if I searched for some big command like cal, okay, it's the same. Maybe I can search for ping, still same. I can search for user add, okay, a difference, USR sbin. See, USR sbin. That also means the second path under path variable is USR and sbin. Likewise, you have number of locations that is already defined by Linux or any other operating system as well. Okay, so simply you have to understand this in a very much particular way, the list of directories that is already there in the path. But I cannot keep finding like see which and by this command. So how I can check all the locations that is stored under path variable? Okay, so here in shell there is a command called echo. Okay, now echo is not a command, by the way. You can assume echo very much similar to print f of C language. Okay, very much similar to C language. So whatever you write in front of echo, it will just print it back. So it's a kind of printf of C language, or it doesn't matter, you're writing in numeric way, you're writing in a double quotes, और you're writing in single quotes. मतलब बहुत ही ज़्यादा अत्यंत chill command, right? So it doesn't matter you're typing in single quotes, double quote, without quote, whatever you want to give, just give it. Okay, so let's say if I just use a variable x, okay, and is equals to 1, and now if I'm saying x equal x, what will be the answer? So if you think answer will be 1, you're wrong, because I just explained whatever you write in front of x, it will give the same answer. Okay, but you want to tell your Linux kernel or operating system, assume this x as a variable, so you can put dollar behind that. Okay, when you put dollar, so anything you put dollar before that in Linux based environment, it will be counted as a variable. Okay, so now similarly, whatever variables you are going to use, it is going to print it back. Okay, so now if you talk about shell variable, there are two kinds: user defined shell, user defined variable, or the another one is system defined variable. System defined variable. So we have number of system defined variable. So let's say there is a variable automatically defined by your OS, that is capital shell. Okay, the use of this variable is to give you the default shell answer. So now you have two methods. The one is type anything wrong and get the answer about your shell name, or maybe you can call this variable and get the shell name. Okay, and the shell is stored under bin. Now it is a complete path, but the name of shell is bash. Okay, so like this user system defined variable, we have number of more variables. Let's say if I want to check what is my current username, who am I, but how exactly who am I is figuring out this name. So who am I is connecting to a variable called user. So this variable is already predefined. Okay, likewise we have a variable called path. Okay, so I was telling you, rather than figuring it out one by one that what are the locations under path, it's always a better idea to call your path variable. Okay, see, so we have this first location, and the second location is separated or delimited by colon. So second location is this, third one is USR local bin, S bin, and USR bin. So we have seen these two locations by which command. Okay, so that means whenever you hit the any command in your OS, your shell is going to search on path, and any of the command that is present under these locations, that can be executed by your kernel. Okay, अब मैं आपको एक बहुत ही जनरल सी ट्रिक देता हूँ. ट्रिक क्या है? अगर आपका ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम कभी हैक हो जाए और आप चाहते हो कि सारी कमांड ऑफ हो जाएं, so what you can do is you can define some random name or random location to the path. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि अगर आपको कोई कमांड नहीं चलानी तो you can use path variable and कुछ भी लोकेशन मतलब for example slash blah blah. Okay, so I just क्या हो गया ये, sorry, no. Okay, so I'm just giving path is equals to, let's say, this. set कमांड की ज़रूरत इसको पड़ती है जो कि ये ऐसा कुछ कर देता है, बाकी आप इसे कोई एक वेरिएबल दे सकते हो. फाइन. सो इंटरनेट शायद नहीं चल रहा, लेकिन मैं बता देता हूँ कि आप इस पर कोई एक वेरिएबल दे सकते हो. जैसे आप ये करोगे सो इको डॉलर पाथ, we don't have anything. Okay, so now if I type date command, it is not going to run. That means anything you type, it is not going to run. I run cal, no, not found. And the reason is very simple, because it is trying to install on Google, because it's the habit of Linux. So if you give some random data or random location to your path variable like this, or like blah 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 blah, it is not going to run anything. So now nothing is found. See, no, even hitting enter is going to search for this command. Okay, so now 99% commands are not going to be executed by path, but there are some command that can run by user without path variable. Okay, but इस प्रॉब्लम को सही कैसे करें? Just close this terminal and open the new one and everything is sorted, because whatever we have discussed, it was just to that session. So if I run date again, all fine. Okay, so now if you think कि कुछ कमांड होती हैं जो सिस्टम के इंटरनल होती हैं. Okay, so I got some question by rhythm. Okay, echo command and what I miss. Yeah, that will work. So that means let's discuss about this. So there are some commands in Linux. So now you have to understand about the type of command. Okay, type of command in Linux. The one that is dependent on path, dependent on path variable, right? And the command not dependent on path variable. Okay, so those commands are not dependent on path variable. We call them system, or in short, internal commands. And the one that is dependent on path variable, we call them external command. External command means the command that can be deleted or created or installed or uninstalled. Internal commands always come with OS. Okay, like echo, like cd, and something like this. So echo command, cd command, and few more that will always come with this. Okay, you can also add some new location to path variable. So that means you can always add some new location to path variable, and that is not a problem. Okay, So simply internal and external commands you have seen. So that means even if you just replace this path variable with something else, such as slash root, okay, then if you run the date command, it is not going to run. But if you try to run echo command like hello, see, we are getting the answer hello. Okay, just don't worry about the set command. This is already a feature of bash, so that's why it is getting prompted. And even if you use cd command, it is going to run. Okay, see, if I use this cd slash usr, we got there. Okay, we are under usr. So echo, cd, and number of commands are there that you can always run it. Okay, so they are not dependent on your shell variable. Anyway, so few more things, even number of things are there in shell. So I hope you all are understanding whatever happening till now. Okay, so give a response in the chat window if you are understanding it, that path is like something where you can give it all answers. Like Anandita is asking something. I'm coming to that point, Anandita. So okay, wonderful guys. So now as you are understanding, today you will get a lot of questions again. So again, it's a request. If you want to be a part of top 50 people, then you have to solve all those problems that I'm pasting on the blog. Okay, so the selection process will be, starting soon. Okay, okay, cool, right? So anyway, now let's say if I'm not having any command in the path, so if you type the command, entire path of the command, it is also not dependent on path variable. Okay, so for example, if I'm typing slash OK or maybe slash root, even if you want to run date command, definitely it is not going to run like this. But if you write the entire path automatically, right, it is going to run it. See, but what if, as per the suggestion by Anandita, if we give the path of a command to something, can we type it? Again, no. And the reason is very simple. That means why we cannot give a location of file to a command, because path value will be a directory, right? It cannot be a file. So always you have to give a directory where path can search. Okay, so let's say if you want to add a new location, for example, you are creating slash root Ashutoshh. Okay, sorry, let me just exit it out from there. So if you want to add a new location to the path variable, so what you do? So right now our location of path is this. So let's say I'm going to create slash root Ashutoshh, and I'm going to move usr bin date command under slash root and Ashutoshh. Okay, right now if I type the date command, it is not going to run. And the reason is very simple, because date is getting searched in this location, and here we just move this command to this. But what if I want to add this location into the path variable? So how do I do that? You can always use path is equals to $path. That means you want to add the entire location plus by using colon, and you can add a new location to this. If you run the date command now, start working. Okay, that means if you have a separate location where you have stored all your own command, so what you can do is you can always just add that one by using $path colon. Why colon? Because every location is added by using colon. Okay, so this is I think, Ashif, you got your answer right. This is how we can append. So now if you check $path, you got /root Ashu in a path list. Alright, so that is something you were looking for probably. Okay, so before wrapping it up today's session, I would really like to give you some tips. Okay, तो आज से हम कुछ सेशन में चेंजेस कर रहे हैं. चेंजेस क्या कर रहे हैं? आई एम डेस्परेटली लुकिंग फॉर टॉप 50 पीपल जिनके लिए मेरे पास कुछ अलग से प्लान्स हैं. तो उसके दो डेडलाइंस, दो चीज़ें हैं. यू हैव टू be present consistently, and the second thing, complete the assignment within the week. Okay, try your best. Okay, now the second thing, I'll be giving a list in every session I'll be giving a random command to read about that. वो कमांड मैं नहीं पढ़ाने वाला, वो मैं आपको दूंगा, वो बिल्कुल नई कमांड होगी जो मैं नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा, और आप उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा पढ़ के आएँ. ओके, सो what I'm saying is, आप जो कमांड पढ़ के आएंगे उस कमांड का नाम है PV. Okay, so I'm not going to give you the idea of PV. So ये मेरी तरफ से एक टिप है. मैं आपको हर एक सेशन में एक नई कमांड दूंगा जिसके बारे में आप खुद पढ़ के, उसके बारे में थोड़ी सी रिसर्च करके, एंड यू कैन पोस्ट ऑन योर लिंक्डइन उसके बारे में थोड़ा अच्छा लिख के. ओके, रेस्ट अभी मैंने जो पोस्ट किया है, यू हैव टू गो एंड कमेंट बैक टू द सेशन कि आज की आपकी लर्निंग क्या थी ऑन माई लिंक्डइन अकाउंट. राइट, सो सिंपली जहाँ भी होगा, आई थिंक आई नीड टू जस्ट चेक इट आउट. राइट, right there, so you can just check it and let me know. Okay, comment back your experience. So anyway, thank you so much guys, and please keep discussing things on Discord. I'm looking it for you. Okay, so thanks and bye bye. By the way, we have around 4 more session on Bash. Okay, so on Bash we have 4 more sessions, so it's not done yet. Alright,